are, and this is just going to be fun because we're going to talk about a recent investigation.
Which was a blast.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this investigation that we went on. We're not going to go into too much detail about the other groups. There was other groups there, and I know they're going to have their shows and their stories. But before we get started, let's talk about next week. I want to remind everybody right now while I can that next week will be on Wednesday night instead of Tuesday.
Same time.
Same time. So it'll be 7 o'clock next Wednesday instead of Tuesday because we are going to be on location. And we may talk about some of the events and activities that we run into at that location.
Right.
That's what we're kind of looking at. And that's pretty exciting too because this is an old hotel and we've had some pretty good experiences there.
We have.
So I'm excited for next week, and next week ain't even here yet.
I know, it'll be fun. And I'm off the entire week, so that is amazing. Well, and you're retired, so.
That's right,
you're
that's
off,
right.
You're off most of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and, you know, we're live. And it appears we're live.
You're looking at the stats.
We're live. Oh, no, we got some viewers there. They got those little boxes over the boxes that don't allow us to see. Yes.
It's functioning. All the metrics.
Well, there's viewers there.
Well, hello, everyone.
Yes, hello. I didn't see any comments. I think that's what.
Oh, that's what
sometimes
off, right?
people are like, hey, I didn't see anything, so I was like, I thought, hello, Jackie.
Hi, Jackie.
That's awesome. For a minute, I thought we were all by ourselves.
Hi,
hello,
Steve.
Well, I'm glad we're not alone.
Yeah, boy.
But hey, we have a lot of conversations about the paranormal, and there's nobody listening but us two. But,
true.
But hey, tonight we're going to talk about the investigation that we had this past weekend, just days ago.
Yeah, just a couple days, yep.
And we actually were at this location about, was it 9-10 months ago?
Yeah, it was October of last year.
Right. Hello, Jill.
Hey, Jill.
Hey,
Jill.
You might have some comments to add tonight.
And we've got a story about you.
Yes.
Or two.
Oh, we have stories. Hello, Pam. So we're going to talk tonight about Humbird, Wisconsin, the Humbird Hotel and Bar.
Yep.
And I tell you what, I can't say enough about how awesome that place is.
We had a great time.
The history.
Hi, Steph.
Hi, Steph. The history of that place and it's just groovy. Can I say that?
You can say groovy, yeah.
It was groovy. And I liked everything about it. I liked that place a lot. And we are going to tell you some story. Well, we're going to look back a little bit, too, about some of the evidence. We got a couple EVPs from a previous investigation from last October. I think it was October that we were there. And now we're back again. And I don't know why, but something is metallic. My voice is echoing, and
I bet it's off your can.
That's it.
That's it. Keep it.
Gone.
Better.
So, here we are. Out in Humbird. We walk in the door. How many minutes were we there before we had our first visit from a spirit?
Hi, Kim. It was within 5 minutes. Because you and I walked in. We sat down. We said, hey, we want a hamburger. They said, how about tacos? We're like, cool.
Yeah.
And Russ and I were just sitting on the bar stools next to each other, and it felt like this thing came up and put its hands on both of our shoulders.
Yeah, like just walked up behind us like an old
and just clapped
pal
his hand on us.
and laid a hand on each one of us.
Yep.
And we kind of slowed down our conversation. I looked over at you. I'm so reversed.
Yeah, we're reversed.
This video thing is driving me nuts. But anyway, so I look over at you and I'm like, do you feel that?
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you said the thing, you heard it say, get our audio out or whatever.
Yes, I heard, and I'm not saying I heard like ding, like somebody, like Mark's talking right now. I didn't hear like that, I just had the image of words, so to speak, that said, "Get your audio going. Get your audio going." And so, right, digging in my pockets, and grabbed out my phone, and we started recording.
Well, and sadly, we had talked about it, bringing our audio in right away, and we forgot it.
I know, because we ended up being rolling in. We were kind of the first ones there, and so we didn't know what to expect, so we're kind of, and we were hungry too. We wanted to eat lunch.
Yeah.
And we had the best taco. I had taco salad.
Yeah, tacos.
Burrito taco, whatever it was, and it was awesome. But hey, I actually took some notes because I actually listened to that little bit on my phone, and there was a couple words. One of the words that they said was Bostic. I'm like, Bostic? I don't even understand what that stands for. And I looked it up, and it means overweight heavy smoker. I'm like, is he talking about me? That wise guy? Hey, I haven't smoked in 20 years. I don't. It's been a long, long time.
I never smoked, so it wasn't me.
So it wasn't you. So there's only one other left in the group. And it also said, I don't think that your soul ticks.
What does that mean?
Right? And then it was immediately respond with, I'm getting a scam call. Scams are not allowed to call in the middle of my show. Off. Bye.
Maybe we should have brought them on the show and asked them about their experiences.
Yes, we could have interviewed the scammer. But right after that, it was responded. Somebody responded to that comment and said, that's a conscious.
Okay.
And that's all I'm telling. Because we're not going to tell too darn much.
No, and you don't want to read some of these.
Yeah, we don't want to go into all of them. I'm saving that evidence for the Minnesota Paraconnection team, and I've just barely touched on the audio, and so too early. But we had some great personal experiences.
You should probably skip the one.
Yeah, this one that's kind of nasty.
Yeah.
But it was like the best EVP so far, and it was so dirty that I couldn't even play it for anybody.
Those buggers.
But we are going to play EVPs tonight from the last time we were there. We got a couple here, and I don't think we ever played them yet.
No, I don't.
Live, so
no.
We'll play a couple of them after the 15 hour, so halfway through the show or so. But so we have this experience with somebody that comes and visit us at the bar very shortly after we arrive. And so then right away I'm like, hey, we need to get some audio. So I think I ran back out to the car. I will send it, but if I send it to you in an email, you won't see me. You won't see me blushing. By golly, because it makes me blush just to read it. But yeah, so I feel like I'm blushing. No, I'm not blushing right now.
Not yet, no.
But
now Stephanie wants to know too. Well, maybe, but not during this show.
Okay, yeah, we have to do it after the show because
it's a family program.
Woo! Yeah, I can't even. Those types of words have never come out of my mouth. I'll tell you that, except for 5 minutes ago when I told Mark.
What?
But otherwise.
You were a soldier. You.
Okay.
All
But
right.
not like that. Not
okay, no.
Formulated in that grouping of.
Okay, I can go with that.
So, all right. So I run out. I get an audio device, and I stick it upstairs right away because you have activity. We need to start rolling. So I asked permission. They said, "Go ahead, put one upstairs," and that was really neat. And I think I have a couple comments on that very couple. It was just a few minutes before everybody started coming. How splendid to be back, I said. And somebody says, "You won't beat it."
Apparently
I don't know
not.
I don't know who I'd be trying to beat.
Oh, you can't beat the experience.
You can't. Yes.
Yeah.
You won't beat the experience anywhere else.
Right.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of how you read something sometimes. I said, I'm alone upstairs. And then somebody off at a distance said, he's coming. And then somebody else said, I'm in town. And that kind of correlates with the fact that, spirits aren't always right in the house. They're more, they might be, but they are more likely in a larger frequency that expands outside of the building you're in.
So, in like kind of some supernatural tourism. So the ghosts are coming to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Coming from the town. Or
yep.
Maybe up from.
Because they feel the energy rolling in. They're like, oh, who's all at the Humbird Barn Hotel? There's some different energy moving in.
Let's do it.
And no doubt they can communicate easily within that frequency, those spirits with each other. And we're not hearing it all, but in this case, we did hear a little bit. So
we did.
But I had little tidbits anyway. And so, why don't you go into the next?
So I wanted to mention one of the locals. This guy was fun. He while we were talking to the owner, he would pipe in and he was saying something about a spectrum analyzer, and I thought the guy was like talking about some Ghostbuster things. And he runs out to his car and he brings this device in, which is about this big. Flips the lid, turns it on, and there's a whole bunch of
It's
green.
crazy.
It's old, yeah. And so he's like, oh, I'm getting some weird spikes in here. Because what it does is it picks up radio frequencies and EMF. And so then he showed me how the radio frequency looks, and it's kind of like a dome. And that's really how it's supposed to look on there. It kind of domes up. And these EMFs were just spiking like crazy. So there were something in the bar was making it go off. Not saying what it is because I don't know, but
yeah,
he was kind of an eccentric dude. He was pretty funky.
But this thing, is kind of a Vietnam era jacket, longer hair.
Yeah.
Some growth, and we just didn't expect this out of this guy. And all of a sudden we hear all this beep, beep, bloop, bloop, beep, beep, all these beeps and
but
stuff.
That's what he did, man. That's the kind of stuff he did.
Yeah.
Like in his real life job.
And we try to debunk some of the stuff too. Okay, we got this going on, blah, blah, blah. But there was strange stuff going on, he said, that I can't explain, and I've seen a lot of it.
Right.
And I think you just said that. Did I just repeat you?
Hi, Julie, maybe. But one of the experiences I had was I found out there was a coffee maker up on the second floor, and I'm like, I got to go get some coffee. And I went up, and I was sitting in the chair next to the coffee maker while my coffee was brewing. And looking down the hallway, and there was the light was coming down the hallway, and I was kind of looking down just a little bit, and I saw something break that light a little bit, and I look up, and this apparition was sliding into the next hallway. This little hallway happens to be the hallway everybody kind of gets a little creeped out on. So that's really one of the first things I saw. Early on.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't even dark yet, and I got to see that.
And I think that's what kind of, like I say, we initially, I don't think we intended to set up the equipment quite as early, and but we started having these different things going on.
Door slamming,
and we're like, we need to set something up. And I can speak for just about everybody there. There was a lot of people there that had worked the day before, this, that. I was tired myself, and so I went up and I thought, it's just a quiet moment. People are still arriving, and I laid on the bed, and I brought the recorder in, set it on the bed there, or not on the bed, but on the little bedside dresser, whatever it was, and I heard 2 screams. But the darn thing is, it was screams as if they were coming from a different realm. I could just barely hear them, and I knew they weren't coming from downstairs. There was just no doubt. But it's like my ears were like totally plugged with a bad cold or something. But there they were, over the top of all the other noise coming from the bar and stuff. 2 screams, and that is kind of a thing that they experience a lot there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's supposed to happen a lot.
Yeah.
Another thing we got kind of just sitting around before anything happened was the owners were talking about their experiences, and we had something happen the last time we were there, and they also got to witness that. It was a light that was shaking, so they got to see that. And the one of the owners said she was up in one of the rooms. They call it the gray room, I think, and it felt like something started to hold on to her legs and then pull. So that's how she woke up. He said that he had run into, they turn on, when nobody's there, they turn off all the lights just to, conserve energy and all that, keep the bills low. And he had been working upstairs, had turned on it's this funky chandelier thing. Went back up and it was on again. So they mess with lights, electronics in that place pretty strongly.
And electronics seemed to be the game of the hour.
Right.
Messing with electronics, I think that was probably my favorite of the night. And we hadn't started investigating yet. I had 2 of my investigators were resting in a room. Just resting, waiting for the moment to arrive, so to speak. And I came up to the room, and it was extremely dark down that hall and in their room, because it was already, dusk had settled in. And I had my phone wrapped around my hand. I don't even know if I can, like this, just kind of wrapped around like this. And I was reaching around to try to find the light switch and turn it on. And in my mind, I'm like, I can't see a darn thing. I wish I could see those beds. I need to get some light. And as I said that, but I didn't say it, but the words were in my head, and I was reaching around, the light on my phone turns on. And I tell you what, I don't ever use that light, but I don't even know how to get the damn button on. I don't. I've used it like once in my life. And I reached around, and that light, as I reached, flashed across both beds, just so I could see exactly what I wanted to see. But it was kind of like, what? And then I pulled my arm back kind of fast. And when I got the phone back near me, then the light shut off. And it shut off.
It shut off.
It shut off, it did. And but anyway, this came on by itself right after I thought, hey, I can't see. I need some light. And my phone light just boop.
Yeah, I have to say I've never seen you use that on an investigation.
Never.
And we're in the dark all the time, so.
Yeah, I've never used that. I'd use 10 other things I have
like
instead
your
of that.
Flashlight or your headlamp.
Yep. And I mean, I think by that time I probably already had it on airplane mode and everything. I have no idea why that thing turned on, other than the fact that I thought it and it happened.
So I want to rewind. So Jill is on, and I'm assuming her husband Ray too is listening. And so I want to tell a quick story about those guys. I think is pretty awesome. So at 2:00 we're gonna have a town hall at the bar, and just kind of get stories from the local people. Well, what happened was at the same time, at the town hall, the real town hall next door, there was a funeral for a Marine, and all the city folk were there. So Jill and Ray showed up, and she's wearing this great shirt. I hope you don't mind if I share what it says. It says, I EVP'd myself. And so she goes into this, they go into the funeral, and they realize that they're in the wrong spot. But the funny thing is, and people are looking at them, I guess, but the funny thing is the other couple that were renting a room as well showed up at the same place. A lot of people, it says town hall. And she sees that shirt, and she goes, oh, we're in the right place. Well, until they realize it's a funeral. So I just thought that was pretty awesome.
Fun story.
It was great, and our new friends, you guys are awesome.
We met some great people.
Absolutely. So.
Oh, we had so darn much fun. We didn't even tell them the best story of all yet.
Which one?
But wait, let's wait. Because I said we were going to play a couple EVPs, and then the best story of all.
The next morning, right?
The next morning.
I love it. Yeah,
Okay,
we'll do
so
that.
we'll play a couple EVPs. That
Oh, that's cool. Thanks, Steph.
oh, excellent, excellent. So these are a couple EVPs from October. I'm pretty sure it was in October we were out there, and some are better than others. They're hard to hear sometimes, but I've tested some of these on the phone, and it really wasn't too bad. So, all right. So in the first one, and I'm just going to tell you what I think it says. If you think it sounds like something different, you absolutely put it in the notes and say your ears are full of dirt and
or whatever you want to say.
Whatever you want to say.
Wax or
You're full of toothpicks.
Guano. whatever.
All right, but anyway, so we're gonna play them. If you hear something different, absolutely let us know in the comments.
Which one are you gonna play first?
Let's start out with something a little easy. I am asking a question. Can you tell me how you died? And then somebody says no. So we're starting out with just this.
Can you tell me how you died? Can you tell me how you died?
So that's kind of a simple format. And in most cases, a simple no like that, but it's a very clear no.
Well, and it's a no in response to a
direct response. It's an intelligent response, as we often call it. Now this one is a female spirit, and we're asking some questions during the EVP session, and she says her first name very clearly. She says, "I'm Corinne." And then because she is potentially, who would talk, is that French or what would say that ya on the end?
Just those dang foreigners. No, I'm kidding.
No.
I'm kidding.
But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the French might say it. Yeah, it's just, yeah.
But anyway, she says, "I'm Corinne, ya." So, here we go.
I'm Corinne, yeah.
Good.
I heard that. Did you hear that? I'm Corinne, yeah. I'm Corinne, yeah. I'm Corinne, yeah. I'm Corinne, yeah.
Did you guys hear that? Did it come across pretty good? That really is, from that investigation, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, my favorite's coming up, that one with the 3 help me's.
Okay. We'll play that one, and then we'll get on to your story. We'll play one more, or maybe 2 more. All right. Oh, here, let's try this one. And this one, there's a couple that's upstairs in the hotel. The hotel, for the most part, upstairs was empty at the time. One gal, one guy, girlfriend, boyfriend.
Just went up to get something.
And they have kind of a quiet moment together. And right away, after they take off, this male spirit says, "Get your hands off the girl." And then it's followed by what sounds like maybe a little bit more mature female. And she says, "It shouldn't matter." So I'm kind of giving up the information here, but take a listen and see what you hear.
My ghosty friends.
That's pretty muffled, the last one.
Yeah.
But you can definitely hear it.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, we're on a pretty decent system here that I have so that I can hear. And I realize that sometimes it doesn't come across. Sometimes when you guys hear it, it comes across as muddy clouds. And it's like, I've had people say, "What was that?" All right, here's Mark's favorite right here.
really like that one middle guy. He's like, help me.
Yeah.
You know?
When I played it, I had that one on the end. Because it says Russ on the end of this one, but it's kind of quiet. Then there's a second Russ right after it. But yeah, 3 help me's all right in a row. And at 3 different tonal waves, so to speak.
Yeah.
So that's pretty
I thought
interesting.
it was pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we're going to slam on the brakes there with those. And I want to get to the best story of all.
It was really neat. So Stephanie had suggested we go to the Diphtheria Cemetery, and then that's where they buried some of the town folk. As far
About
as
5,
from
6, 7
other-
miles away.
Yeah, and she said, well, maybe she didn't say it. Somebody else might have said there's something with the trees. So this is kind of knowledge. They thought it was a neat cemetery, and well, we wanted to go. So Jill and Ray also came with us, and we showed up at the cemetery, and Russ was on one side of me, Ray was on the other side of me, and then Jill was coming up the stairs. And I said to them, I said, hey, so they said that there was something interesting with the trees, and just as soon as I got trees out, there was a crack,
Loud
crack above us, and you could hear this branch falling through the trees. So I froze because I was thinking, if I move, I'm going to get hit. And then Russ is on one side going, looking up, and then Ray's on the other side looking up, and Jill's on the stairs going, what the heck is going on? And that branch, I kid you not, fell, I got to find where my arm is, fell right next to me. It like missed me by like that much.
Right. And you were thinking potentially about moving that direction.
That's where I was going to move. In my split-second decision, I know something's going to fall, and it's right above me. That's where I would have stepped. But I froze in place, just kind of hunched my shoulders a little bit, expecting it to hit me, and it fell right next to me.
I mean, it's just the timing of it was impeccable.
It was great, yeah. So,
Who'd have thought it was? It was just so weird to hear you say the word tree,
and crack.
and it just instantly, before, like I say, word wasn't even out of your mouth.
Yeah, and it was a healthy branch.
Yeah, it
The
wasn't like
pine-
some old branch or
It
something.
was fresh. The pine tree needles were great. Yeah, it was trees. They're like big white pines and different.
Huge.
They're huge and they're beautiful, and yeah, it was a neat thing.
Yeah. And that's really the key to it. And a lot of times, if you're not really thinking about it, maybe you'd be like, oh, whatever. But you just, the whole weekend, and you put together all these pieces. And the supernatural sometimes is just like a giant puzzle. And they talk about synchronicities that occur, coincidences that just keep occurring over and over and over. And the coincidence that branch would fall,
Right when I said it.
just weird. Weird.
But yeah, it was a neat little cemetery. A little broken down, but it looks like people visit and put flowers, but
Yep.
it was kind of on a hillside, and I thought it was a very neat place. And
But, guess what? We were there twice. There's no doubt in my mind we'll go back there again sometime.
right,
Humbird, Minnesota.
we're coming for
And
you.
I would actually,
Wisconsin, you said Minnesota.
or Wisconsin, yep, sorry.
Don't confuse people.
I would definitely recommend it to anybody to go out and check out this very quaint hotel and bar. It really was so pleasant. And the owners, very nice.
Jill did get a picture of me holding the branch.
Oh, yeah. I wish we I don't know, maybe we do have it somewhere. Maybe we didn't
It's in
get
my
it yet.
phone.
Okay. But yeah, the branch was at least 5 feet,
At
5
least,
feet long.
Yeah.
I
I
mean-
mean, it probably wouldn't hurt me too much if it hit me, but
Yeah, we wouldn't have had to call the ER or anything, but, it would have still it.
not unless a branch would have spiked me.
And
That
I don't
would've been
think they
interesting.
probably meant to hurt you. They just were getting your attention,
They did.
and they They did.
Yeah, I didn't feel like it was anything too
No,
impressive.
nothing. Like, we never felt any oppressive energy there at all. I don't think.
Yeah,
It was
just-
actually quite peaceful and pleasant.
Yeah. I felt a little sadness in one of the areas. but
Yeah, it is sad.
It was a great time, Kim. Well, yeah. It'll be one of my favorite weekends.
Yeah.
Amongst many favorite weekends.
Hmm. Yeah, that picture that we took as a group, and there was more than that there.
Right.
Some people did leave early, and but that picture just has the flavor of the joy I think that we all had at being there and
I
just
agree.
being together as a group.
was a
And
blast.
it was a very special time. And like I say, anybody heading out towards Wisconsin, it's probably just over maybe 2 hours from the cities.
Right.
Not even that far.
Right. Yeah, it's not. It took us a little over 3 hours to get there.
Yeah, and there's 2 bars in town. It's not the biggest town in the world, but
No.
there's a lot of other towns nearby that have shops and different things too.
Yeah. Black River Falls is nearby.
Yeah, that's just down the road. And so, yep, can't say enough about the Hotel Bar and Grill in Humbird, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Very good.
So next week, we're at about 7:31. We could start transitioning, I suppose. I said it at the beginning. I'll say it at the end. Next week's show is going to be on Wednesday at 7 instead of Tuesday. And that's because we're going to be in another
Haunted Hotel.
haunted hotel.
Another favorite, I think.
Another favorite.
Yeah.
So we are excited to... I just can't wait for next week either. You know,
I know. I'm. It's great.
It's going to be another good time.
I agree, Kim. We definitely will.
Yes.
Like soon.
Yes.
Very soon.
It will be, actually will be soon.
It will be soon. Yeah.
I took my calendar to work today and I don't have it here.
Oh
But,
boy.
but yeah, definitely. Thank you all for coming and joining us tonight. We had a great time. And anytime you guys got questions or ideas of haunted places you want us to talk about or to go, whatever you want to bring it up in the notes, bring it up now, bring it up later.
Oh yeah.
I mean, anytime you can go to the Search for Spirits Facebook or the website or the YouTube site. You know, all of these shows end up on YouTube within a couple days. And so they're on there. And I ask you, hey, if you haven't yet, please go on to YouTube and subscribe, because there's stuff going on YouTube besides these live shows. There's other stuff as well that we put on there. We put a lot of short clips from investigations on there, this, that. And please go on there, subscribe, give us a like. We'd really appreciate it. So, blessings.
Yeah. Take care. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, y'all have a great night.
Bye now.
Now, I'm going to wait like 3 seconds because my wife told me that after I say goodbye, it ends quite abruptly.
Oh.
Abruptly.
Abruptly. Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah.